Hey grandparents, it is Easter month, and so we've been talking about some faith matters this month. And today we want to talk a little bit about building upon the foundation of faith as a family value. Now we have a free download that is Writing Your Family Values. If you have not done that already, I strongly suggest you get that and work through that worksheet. Family values are just so important to define, to understand, because they will guide us in how we conduct our family business. Well, faith is a family value, and it may or may not be one for your particular family. But if it is, you really want to build upon that foundation. For most of us who are believers, it is probably the single most important foundation that we want to put in to stabilize and strengthen our family for generations to come. And think about that. Foundations do exactly that. By definition, they are the things that, stabilize and support when you're building a house or a commercial building. You have city and county and state guidelines for those structures to put in place something that is actually strong enough to support the type of building that you're putting up in the soil that you're putting it up in and in the environment. So apply those principles to your family. What are the principles and foundations that will support and stabilize your family? What will you build on top of that foundation? Those become the principles that we live by. What is it you are building with the values you choose to preserve in your family? Well, these principles that I want you to think about and to write down, or whatever it takes to get secure in your mind, they're the fundamental truths that serve as the foundation for beliefs and behaviors in your family. What will you pass down? What will you teach your young ones so that their beliefs and behaviors are consistent with the values of your family? I want you to spend some time exploring those, writing them down, and agreeing among yourselves what those principles are that are key to your family. Here's an example from our current family situation. We are at present searching for a church home because we have now, very shortly, we'll have more of the family all in one community again. And so the family, the core of the family, encompasses 3 or 4 generations at this point. And what do we want to look for in a church home so that everybody's needs are met, but primarily the youngest ones, that those lessons are being taught not only at home, but in a church setting. So we're examining right now some of the principles of faith in our family and what's important to us as we look for a church home for the greater family. After you've kind of done the groundwork and you've come to a place where you know what the foundations are that you want, the principles that you want to build upon that foundation with, then here's one of the ways to make sure you pass those on to your grandkids. And it's super simple. It's repetition. If you talk to marketers or political message people, they will tell you that it takes 7 to 8 times for an impression to be made upon a consumer before a sale is made or a decision is made. Well, apply that inside your own family. These little ones need to have multiple impressions made upon their hearts and minds over the course of their growing up years so that they remember the principles. They're ingrained in their hearts and they live by those principles. So get creative. Share creatively. Come up with new ways to share the same principles. And it may seem to you like you're, saying it too often, and if you don't do it well, it'll seem like that to them too. So always be kind. We are not trying to beat our faith into the grands. We want to teach them kindly and in a great variety of ways how to make faith a part of their life and to live by the principles of faith that come out of Scripture. So 7 to 8 impressions minimum, but expect to repeat the lessons that you teach. And then as they grow through the different ages, you'll find that you can teach those lessons in different ways too. You can get more complex. When they're little, you need to keep it simple. But as they grow, you can dig a little deeper, you can answer their questions, and just really get an understanding of faith principles ingrained into them so that they begin making life choices based upon the foundations, the principles, and the stories and scriptures you've put into their heart. How do you go about building a faith foundation in your family? Take care, grandparents.